Random House Audio presents Late for the Wedding by Amanda Quick. Read for you by Jennifer Van Dyke. The first indication he got that his carefully laid plans for the night were doomed came when he opened his bedchamber door and found Cleopatra standing in the hallway. "Bloody hell," he said very softly. "I was expecting Minerva." His long-anticipated vision of a night of passion spent in a comfortable bed with his lover and occasional business partner, Lavinia Lake, faded into a hazy mist. "Hello, Tobias." The woman in the hall lowered the green and gilt mask attached to the little gold post in her hand. The cobra diadem that graced her long, elaborately braided black wig gleamed in the light of a nearby wall sconce. Wry amusement lit her dark eyes. "It has been a long time. May I come in?" It had, in fact, been 3 years since he had last seen Aspasia Gray, but she had changed very little. She was still a stunningly beautiful woman, with a classical profile that was well suited to her guise as the Queen of Egypt. Her tall, elegantly proportioned figure was displayed to advantage in a pale green gown trimmed with gold embroidery. Memories from that very dark time 3 years ago crashed over him with a force of storm-driven waves. He collected his wits with an effort and quickly surveyed the darkened hallway behind Aspasia. There was no sign of Lavinia. Maybe, if he acted swiftly, he would be able to rid himself of his unwelcome visitor before his evening was entirely ruined. "I suppose you'd better come in." "You have not changed, sir," she murmured. "Still as gracious as ever, I see." She entered the firelit room with a soft rustle of silken skirts and a whisper of exotic perfume. He closed the door and turned to face her. He had not noticed any Cleopatras at the costume ball earlier in the evening, but that was not surprising. Beaumont Castle was a huge, sprawling monstrosity of a house, and tonight it was crammed with people. He had been interested in only one particular guest. The invitation to the house party had come through the auspices of Lord Vale. Tobias's first automatic inclination had been to decline the offer. He had little interest in such affairs. But then Vale had reminded him of the one singular attraction of a properly organized country house party. "Yes, there are the lengthy, boring breakfasts and the frivolous conversations and the silly games, but you and Mrs. Lake will each be provided with a private bedchamber." He had been surprised, not to say greatly relieved, when Lavinia agreed to the plan with very little fuss. He suspected that her enthusiasm was generated in large part because she viewed the house party as an excellent opportunity to fish for new business. But he refused to allow that fact to depress his spirits. For the first time in their acquaintance, they would enjoy the luxury of being able to spend the better portion of not one, but 2 entire nights in the cozy warmth and privacy of a real bed. He looked at Aspasia. "What the devil are you doing here? I thought you were in Paris." "I am well aware that you have a tendency to be blunt to the point of rudeness on occasion, Tobias, but surely I deserve a warmer welcome from you. It is not as though I am only a casual acquaintance, after all." She was right, he thought. The two of them were forever linked by the events of the past, and by a dead man named Zachary Elland. "My apologies," he said quietly, "but the truth is, you have caught me very much by surprise. I did not see you this afternoon when the other guests descended on the castle, nor did I notice you at the costume ball tonight. I arrived quite late, after the evening festivities had commenced. I saw you at the ball, but you were preoccupied with your little red-headed friend." Aspasia stripped off her gloves with languid grace and held her hands out to the fire. "Who on earth is she, Tobias? I would not have said that she was your type." "Her name is Mrs. Lake." He did not bother to conceal the edge to his words. "Ah, I see." She looked down into the flames. "You are lovers." "We are also business partners," he said evenly. "Mrs. Lake and I both make our livings in the same fashion. She takes commissions for private inquiries, just as I do. We investigate certain cases together." She smiled fleetingly. "I suppose the private inquiry business is a step up from being a spy, but surely it is not nearly as respectable as your previous career as a man of business." "I find it suits my temperament. Aspasia, tell me why you are here. I have plans for the remainder of the night." She sighed. As of last night, I had no intention whatsoever of accepting the invitation to Beaumont's house party. Indeed, I sent my regrets some weeks ago. But things changed. I am here now because I followed you, sir. "Why the devil did you chase all this way after me?" he asked. "I had no choice. This morning I went straight to your address in Slate Street, but you had already departed. Your man informed me that you had left for Beaumont Castle and would be gone for several days. Fortunately, I remembered that the invitation mentioned the costume ball. I managed to find this wig and a mask at the last minute." "You received an invitation to this affair?" he asked, curiosity stirring. "Yes, of course." Aspasia brushed that aside. "Lady Beaumont sends invitations to everyone in society." Aspasia's pedigree was impeccable. She was the last of her line, and she controlled a substantial inheritance that she had received from her father. "Tell me what this is about, Aspasia." "Something happened this morning," she said, gazing into the fire. "Something quite unsettling. I could not think of anything else to do but to consult with you immediately, Tobias." "I suggest you come straight to the point," he said. "Very well. But I fear you will not credit what I have to say if I do not show you what was left on my front step early this morning." She opened a tiny beaded reticule and removed a small object wrapped in a linen handkerchief. He plucked the small parcel from her fingers and carried it across the room to examine it in the light of the candle. There he untied the handkerchief and let the cloth fall away. He looked at the ring that had been revealed and felt the hair lift on the back of his neck. "Hell's teeth," he whispered. He studied the ring more closely. The band was set with black stones. The darkly glittering gems framed a small gold coffin. He used the tip of one finger to raise the lid. A tiny, exquisitely detailed white skull grinned up at him from inside the miniature sarcophagus. He angled the ring to read the Latin inscription on the inside of the lid, translating the ancient warning silently to himself. "Death comes." He met Aspasia's eyes. "It is an old memento mori ring. You said it was left on your doorstep?" "My housekeeper found it. The ring was inside a small box, covered in black velvet." "Was there a note? A message of some kind?" "No. Just that damned ring." She shuddered, no longer bothering to conceal her disquiet. "It is impossible," Tobias said flatly. "Zachary Elland is dead, Aspasia. We both saw the body." She closed her eyes briefly in pain, and then looked at him very steadily. "You do not need to remind me." The old guilt slammed through him. "Of course not. My apologies." "Afterward," she said slowly, "you told me you'd heard rumors of another man who once made a profession of murder, just as Zachary had done. A killer who used the same ghastly signature. I recall you told me that he was never caught, and that there was never any proof of murder in the first place, because the deaths always appeared accidental or natural. Aspasia, maybe he's still out there, Tobias. Maybe... The original memento mori man, if he ever actually existed, would be quite elderly by now, dead, most likely. Those rumors dated from decades back." "Yes, I know. Zachary, no doubt, took pleasure in invoking the old stories because it suited his sense of melodrama. You know how he thrived on excitement." "Yes, of course." The room was warm, but she rubbed her arms as though she felt a chill. "He craved thrills and drama the way some are addicted to opium." She hesitated. "Now it would appear that someone else has the same taste for melodrama." A visible shiver went through her. What if whoever left that ring blames me for Zachary's death and seeks some sort of crazed revenge? "Zachary took his own life when he realized that I was about to have him brought up on charges of murder. You had nothing to do with his death." Maybe whoever left that ring doesn't know that. Indeed, but that conclusion did not feel right, he thought. He raised the little skull to the light again. "We must also consider the possibility that this was intended as an announcement of some sort." "What do you mean?" He weighed the ring in the palm of his hand. "You are one..."
Sample complete. Ready to continue?